Hey guys, so for the first assignment, I'm going to give you a few options of how to turn in your stuff and just tell you a little bit about the class. So when you're actually showing off your materials, like let's say, okay, I've made this really cool material, I have it on this object and I want to show it off, you can turn in some screenshots. And of course you can do a print screen, which gets everything. Unreal also allows you to do screenshots within here. So if I click on this little tab, and then say a high resolution screenshot. Then I can do, I can do a screenshot within here. And I can actually just go in, it's going to take a screenshot of the window that I have, and just click that. And then it actually pops it in. And when it does, it pulls up a little window that has my screenshots that you can see here. And there you can see they're really clean. And the target is pretty good resolution. You can actually increase it, but I wouldn't necessarily right now because they're going to be super huge, super huge sizes. But this is the multiplier, so basically it multiplies whatever the resolution is that's there, and that's a 1, and that's like a 1207 by 761. So that's pretty decent. We can see the details, just so you can see if I did increase this by 2 and then did a screenshot. That's a 5 meg file, but you can see that here's the low, here's the high. And you don't really see as much. The only real difference is that you can actually zoom in a lot more to the other ones, so that you can see even more detail. But one is totally fine, and then it's going to save you some time and speed and render space, basically space when you're uploading. The other way that you could do it, besides that, for this first one, that's really all you need. There is another alternative, and before I get to that, I'm just going to show you how to show off your shaders that you create. So once you have actually created the shader, and you have your shading network, you can do screenshots showing your shading network. And remember that you can actually use these comment boxes and literally comment on them. That's what they're there for, where you can write in information saying what they are, and just say, like, give information, and you can actually comment on anything. So any of the nodes, I could just go in and I can actually add a comment on, like, oh, what's this texture being used for? High level of detail, right? And then we see what that is right there. This one doesn't work with the screenshot, but what you can do is just a print screen. So literally hitting the print screen button a few times to get the different sections of the shader, and then turn that in as well so I can see and everyone else can see and ask questions about how you built that shader. I do suggest putting in little comments on different things, like if here's my color node, and if I go in there in the comments and say controls color of metal, and then people know exactly what this particular node is doing. Right? You don't have to do it for everything, but I would say definitely you want to try and do it to a few of the things, just so that it answers questions for you. And that you can just do the print screen and upload those. Now, the last thing, which is really cool, is you can do a screen capture. So if you were to go to look up camstudio.org, and then it's a free screen capture software. And basically you just set it up. I personally use a program called Movavi, and I found this to be a really nice program. Has a lot of nice tools for video editing. I mean, I usually use After Effects and stuff, but it has some really nice ones in there, especially if you're kind of a novice to video editing and doing stuff. but it has a sound recorder, it has a screen capture. If you're doing dual screens like me, you can designate which screen. You can even, when you record, not that you want to see my mug, but you can have a little version of you while you're recording talking, just like, everybody's doing on YouTube. This one, it cost, I think it's about $60 right now. But I use it a lot, obviously, for all the things I do. But this one is free, and it's only the recorder. So, you get that, you download it, you run it. If you get it, just be careful of the file sizes, because sometimes the only downside, you want to use a SWF or MPEG-4, and you want to try and keep the file sizes down, and then that will help out a lot. You can always use this. There's a program called Handbrake, and that actually can this guy can actually compress and transcode your stuffs. And this is also a freebie. How nice. They give us all these free things. So you can download this and basically use MPEG-4 and shrink things down a lot so that they aren't these ginormous, huge file sizes. And I can help you if you need that. But so you have different options. I would think more of the Cam Studio when you're walking around, and later on I'll show you some other ways of showing off some of your stuff. But for right now, screenshots, rendered images, and if you want to do like, hey, this is my video, and do a little narrative of how you put it together, not very long, just a couple of minutes or so, then that would also be very cool, and it would help out your classmates quite well. So the other thing is, if you are having problems, if you need to upload something so I could take a look at it in some of your projects, I will have you upload. I sent you a link to the ShaderDevelopment, my personal for this class folder, and within this you'll have the course files, right? So this is where you can find a lot of the files that are already there, and I'm uploading some more today. Okay, so this is where you find all these course files. So you can see I have different things that are in here that we'll be using. Oops. And the student projects is where you would make your folder inside of here. And the last thing is that you would go in, close this. And if you want to turn in, it can be a real bear because there's all these different folders and everything. So the quick way of turning one of your projects in is not to try and save out and upload the entire folder. It's to actually, let's go in. Where are you? Oh my goodness, you're killing me. Where it says project, you can package your project and zip up the project. And when you zip it up, basically what happens is you zip the entire project so it takes up less space into a zip file, and then you can upload that. Okay? So if you do that, so once again, the Google Drive, I sent you a link. Double check, make sure that you got this. If you didn't, I will send the link out again. My stuff has been my connection and through the LMS has been a little weird the last couple of days, so I apologize for that. But you should get this link. And you can see I have a few different ones that are in there, but yours is this little fella right here. And you shouldn't have access to all this other stuff, but you should have access to this. And I will double check just to make sure. But this is where you will find, course files, and you'll find different examples, little programs to help you with lighting, different textures. Look at all these textures that are in here for the stuff you'll be doing, and all that good stuff. So this is where you'd actually find those things. Okay? Let me know if you have any questions, text me, send me an email, give me a call, though I may not be able to answer immediately, but definitely remember to let me know what school you're from and which class and what your question is because like I said, I'm teaching 4 classes. So it's a little bit hard to manage of like somebody says, I have a question about this, and I'm like, okay, which school, which class, which project? So if you let me know that, then I'll be like, okay, I know how to handle that. All right. So I will talk to you guys later and have a great week. Once again, cannot wait to see what cool things you're going to do.